Hi everyone, it's Killshot from 99 Gaming. This is Fear the Walking Dead Season 3, Episode 3 reaction time. And we're going to take a pulse and see what everybody thought about tonight's episode. I know the spoilers were pretty right on, I got to say. Good information this week. Nothing real shocking there. There were one or two things that they just elaborated on a little bit more. I think the Alicia scenes, the Nick and Troy scene, we knew they were going to make amends at some point, but the way that all went down, we're going to talk about that a little bit tonight. So just want to thank all of you guys for being here. I know this is a little early and we are competing with Talking Dead, but that's okay. I think we'll get our normal group in here, and we're going to talk about how we felt about it. So we'll talk a little bit about, I got some concepts here. I got an idea though. Jake and Troy, the way that dynamic is playing out, I know in the spoiler video, we said that maybe there was something happened to Troy that's going to make us feel sorry for him, and I think that they are definitely going down that path. So hopefully you guys are ready to talk a little bit of reactions. And I see Lindsay Luke in the house, Dark Angel, Moody Girl, thank you for being here, Late Night, and looks like a few more people are going to start to file in. I know these are different times, so I do want to apologize with kind of shifting everybody's priorities, but I think this is going to be good for a little bit. And if you are new to this chat, tell you what, if you type comments, they have the potential to be read. So be careful what you write. I may call on you and say, Tommy Sweet-Ass McCandless is in the house. A lot of people are talking Bible study. So yeah, that was an interesting Bible study group they had tonight. Yes, we have, if you're in Australia, you have not seen it. We're going to be talking about it. Hey, Harley Quinn, just popping in to say hi. Watching the hockey game, have not had a chance to see it. I thought it was good, so we're going to get into the spoilers a little bit, so hopefully you got us on mute. Because I really want to start out. You know what? Let's just start out with all the people here. And the people that have watched it, what's your reaction to the show so far, 3 episodes in? I'm feeling good about Daniel. What's up, Master of Fame? Thank you. Yeah, that was, it's got me wondering about Nick a little bit. Come on, Emmy. It's Jeff with a G. Geoff. It's okay. I did catch a few minutes of Talking Dead, so that's how I know they got that from the script. Yeah, I don't think this Daniel is a hallucination, judging by the sneak peek from next week. I'm pretty sure that he's legit, unless there's just a lot of stuff that the Strand is imagining. And the fact that he's on the other side of the bars, that really made it hit home. That was the question that I had tonight. There you go. Tall Carl, yeah. That's Troy's new name. Yeah, I do think I like Dark Side Nick a little bit better. He's been a little bit mild. What's going on? I see a few more people popping in. Yeah, I mean, bringing Daniel back, they're going to have to sort some things. How this group came to be, how he survived. And I do. Real Madison playing some serious mommy psychology. Should I? Cuervo Queen wants some Elton John. Daniel, my brother, you are older than me. Do you still feel the pain from the scars that won't heal? Your eyes have died. I won't get to the high parts. So you asked for it, so you put me on the spot. I had to do it. I had to deliver. But yes, that's a dedication to Daniel coming back to the show. And I do think they intentionally gave us that sneak peek and showed him in 3 or 4 clips. That's too much to imagine. There were so many other people involved in that sneak peek in that clip. So he's back. Just reading through some of the chat here. And once again, most people don't look like, it doesn't look like we've got too many new people here. Just leave your thoughts and comments, and we'll jump around a little bit and see if we can get some debate going. I mean, I definitely got my theories, and you know what? I'll just start with it. So, that scene where they're watching the video of Teotwawki, and we found out the mom had a drinking problem, and the their father was a little bit abusive. Jeremiah is a little bit abusive, and you see small Troy there, and you feel bad for him, all the things he had to go through. And they did give us a little bit of a tidbit that he had to take care of his mom right until the end. I know how these plot twists happen. Maybe Jake from State Farm at 3 in the morning is not as clean as we think. You know how sometimes it's like you hate Troy and you like Jake, and then you find out that really maybe Jake is a lot of the problem with Troy? So I'm not ready just to put a crown on Jake yet and say he's the golden boy and he's the next big thing. Maybe that's the way it's going, but I need some more information before I do that. It's almost like it's too predictable, right? Jake and Alicia, and Jake's the good dude, and everybody hates Troy. Now maybe we start to feel sorry for Troy a little bit. I mean, but yeah, Troy was killing a lot of people. Yeah, I'm not sure about old Jeremiah. It was a good bonding moment. I think Nick needed that. You know, it's kind of like that old, what's that book, A Separate Peace? It was kind of like one of those moments where you had this, I think we're going to get into this who can one-up the next person. Nick is crazy. Troy seems to be a little bit crazy. I get the feeling these two are just going to be going out trying to one-up each other over and over again. So Moody, the Muddy Girl, says Nick is playing with fire. Yeah, he is, but that's it's typical. Nick's always played with fire. And that's why I like it. It feels like it's getting back to Nick being Nick again. That's a good point. People on the ranch are religious, survivalists, cult, and possible cannibals and stoners. Yeah, maybe not cannibals. I would find that more of a stretch. No, they don't have to be cannibals. I mean, they got all the food. Yeah, I think the cannibal thing is a little bit that's too abstract. Cult, definitely. Creepy, definitely. I get a feeling though with this season, it's almost like I don't know why it gives me like a Lost vibe, and I kind of like it. I mean, they're eating boar. Wow, a few people have not watched the episode. It's okay. I mean, I'm glad you guys are here. But watch the episode. Emmy, are we going to stay with a solid 9? I'm not. I'm going to we have a sliding scale of Fear the Walking Dead. So I'm going to say the first 2 episodes, I'm definitely right there with you. I'm going to say this one was a little less. So I'm going to give you I'm at about an 8.6 right now. So I would say this one brought it down a little bit. But I'm still okay with it. I'm still, I want to keep on keeping on. We initially said we were going to do the streams, the reactions, the spoilers, all of those things, first few episodes, see if we like it. I'm still on board. I'm still okay. Rial is notching up to a 6 from a 5. Lindsay's solid 7. Strong 8. Cuervo Queen says 8.9 on the creepy scale. Crazy Nick a 9. Really? Emmy, getting her to backtrack is like it's like taking candy out of a little kid's hand. I can only get her to drop like 1/10 of a point. I am definitely waiting for Preacher. Every time I see the sneak peek, it's pretty awesome. So this is kind of interesting stuff because obviously there's ads that play on our videos, and the live stream we did earlier, I went back to check just a little bit of the playback, and as soon as I went to check the playback, I'm not even joking, the Teotwawki video was playing as the advertisement on the stream. So I thought that was kind of cool, and I had not had a chance to watch it on a sneak peek, and I knew it was there, so I was like, okay, I'll just watch the ad on the front of the video. What's up, Rick Grimes? Number 12. Well, the thing is, it's not just a pantry, Brene. It is their... I think it was part pantry and part his merchandise. You got to understand, he was like the Amazon of the pre-apocalypse. So these people are placing orders and they get a free bucket. Order now. Order today and we will send you a free survival bucket. So, guy was pretty successful shipping out that video and shipping out the buckets. And gives you a good time frame. I mean, I guess we could kind of calculate when these things are going on. So, what's probably 2000... If it's modern day, I mean, they had President Clinton back in the videos. Everybody is hyped. Everybody's hyped for Preacher. Yes, something very interesting happened with Strand, Northside. So, because a few people have not seen it, we initially in the spoiler video we said Strand might have drank the water and then hallucinated. So the spoiler information I had said that he looked at the cell. So that was one minor difference. But actually, Daniel was on the outside. And said, "I'll be your guardian angel," and then turned around and walked away. So one could have thought, okay, it's a hallucination, but then we saw scenes from next week, and there were several scenes that had Daniel in it. Moody, I don't think so. I don't see Strand dying anytime soon. I think they had the opportunity to kill him today. The fact that there's a storyline still happening there with Daniel, and with the fact that you know, he's helping out Dante, Mr. Dante. I think they got to keep him around a little while. I think Troy and Nick are buddies, so I could see Troy wanting to get rid of Lucy. What do you think about that? Hey Kills, how many episodes are in the first episode of Preacher? Because I'm thinking about binge watching it. I don't know. I'll have to go back and look. But you could binge watch it in the evening. Just get into it. I mean, you know when Nick liked rubbing all the zombie juice all over himself, and he was eating dog and all of that, I think even though Troy was doing the science, it was intriguing to Nick. I mean, even tonight, he said, you're not a scientist. And then he shot beside him, and next thing you know, they're rolling around laughing, and Nick's got somebody that, remember, the normal world was always boring to Nick, and now you got somebody like Troy that is not boring to him. Well, that's a good point. So Lindsay says, is Troy taking a liking to Madison because he reminds him of his mother? What do you think? I don't want to speculate too much of that relationship because there's so many things that can happen with it. Is one, Troy did want Madison, and he said that's why I picked you. So yes, in one regard you could be right. I mean, she's clearly older than him, so I don't know if it's that attraction, but then she's also a guidance counselor, so she could see someone as a troubled youth that needs a little bit of help. Yeah, there's a couple different ways they can go with that direction. So for me, it's a little too early to speculate, but if I had to, I would agree with you. I'd say that Troy needs someone to replace his mother. And they definitely hinted at it tonight. What's up, Jackson? Thanks for popping in, man. So does Jake know about the secret Bible club? I mean, we saw a little bit of a smile, a little bit of a smirk. Tell me what you think about Jake at this point. Does Jake know what's going on with that group and just kind of let them hang out, do their thing while they're breaking in Alicia? Or is he just is he out of the loop? And I guess the reason it reminded me of Lost is because they climbed down that little area. But I do like kind of the little mini cliffhangers they're throwing at us. Creepy dad. So Jeremiah, I think, is likes Maddie. Well, yes, Steph, but that could go a couple different ways. I'm not saying does he know about the Bible study. I'm saying does he know about the real intent. You know, they're down there smoking weed and getting drunk instead of studying the Bible. So, Big Bruh says, Kills, are we watching the start of the Whispers? And I know this has come up in so many streams. It's too early, and to be perfectly honest, at this point, it's too disrespectful to Fear the Walking Dead. I don't think there's any ties at this point between the two shows. If the show starts failing drastically and they needed to move a couple characters over, I guess they could, just to sort of save face a little bit. But I would say no. I'd say Madison is not alpha, Nick is not beta, that there's no relation with them whatsoever. Here's the pushback, and 3 or 4 people have brought this up. So right now, they're in California. They were Mexico, and now they're in California. So where are the Whispers? We're going to wait for a few people to pop in. What's up, Deidre? Exactly. Virginia. Now, we've already seen that song and dance, right? But it's one thing for, keep in mind, you know, our group in The Walking Dead went from Atlanta to Virginia, and they went through a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. So, for Madison and Nick to get to Virginia from California is no joke. First of all, they would have to have a reason to go, and I don't see that. I don't see them saying, "All right, let's go to Washington D.C." It's already been done. I think we can probably start to bury that. Transportation is going to get more and more scarce. So the longer the show goes on, the less likely it is. Because, I mean, how are they going to travel? Less gas, not like they're getting in planes. Yeah, I mean, you can hold on to it if that's what you think your theory is. I would say it is almost, it's just extremely unlikely that they would meet up, that they would go from California to Virginia. Well, Steph, that's my point. My point is, what about a plane? The longer this goes on, the less likely there's going to be a plane. Because the timetable is going to catch up. If you're talking about can they get on a plane right now, maybe there's a helicopter. But in 3 months, nope. 6 months, going to be even worse. Going to be more walkers. They're going to get ran over. I mean, that barbed wire fence right now at this point is holding it. A single engine plane from California to, I guess the point is, what's the point? What's the point of doing that again? Abraham had a purpose. I mean, his purpose and Eugene's purpose was to get to D.C. And California, they already consider themselves their own state. They don't have anything to do with Washington, D.C. And heck, I don't know if people are going to want to jump in a helicopter. I mean, last helicopter they were in got shot down. Traveling is going to get more and more difficult. So anyway, we'll table that. The further and further it goes on, I'm just less convinced it's going to happen. And if people keep watching, they don't need it to happen. They have their own story to tell. That I would agree with. So, you know, Brene hit it right on the head. The best way to watch Fear the Walking Dead is to pretend like you don't know anything about The Walking Dead. And here's the other big problem with that, and we're going to dwell on this all night long. Do you think this is the last season of Fear the Walking Dead? Because I would imagine that there's a few more seasons left in Fear the Walking Dead. So how are you going to make this happen? We're probably going to be in the Whisper of War next season. So in another year, we're going to be at the Whisper of War once we get through this. Maybe even hints at it at the end of this season, season 8. Too strange. Nah, it ain't going to happen. It's a lot of stuff you have to get through. All right, let's shift it back in because, I mean, this is just a speculation. It always comes up, and it's just way too early to tell. I don't feel like it's going to happen in that direction. I mean, it's easy for a couple people to throw up a video and say this is going to happen, and then they just debunk their own theory, 6 months from now or 7 months from now and move on to the next thing. In good conscience, though, if you ask me right now, I don't think the two shows are even related, other than the fact that there's a zombie outbreak. Now, if there was Fear the... I don't know. I guess we could come up with a third name, and there was an outbreak in West Virginia or in New York or in Pennsylvania, then maybe I'll give you that. But I think there's just their own dynamic going on out there. He already has. So, 1964 Cat says, isn't Gimple supposed to join Fear? Yeah, he's involved. And I think that's why it's better. The story is much better. Well, Rial, I think that's a good point. It's like we see the perspective, but here's the kind of drastic difference is Atlanta, they were from the outskirts of Atlanta. Now, Atlanta's not a small city. But when they ran into Abraham and Rosita, the goal was to get to a big city so they could see what it's like, to see if there's people still alive, there's things going on. The difference is, in Fear, they started out in Los Angeles, right outside of Los Angeles. So they've seen that. They've seen the planes getting shot down. They've seen the military being corrupt. So they were kind of getting away from it. They were going to Mexico to try a different, a totally different country. So if you've seen a major city get destroyed, and then you see Mexico starting to get overran, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for me to say, okay, now let's drive all the way across the country and go to another major city. At this point, I think that's bad business. And we don't even know what California looks like at this point because they went to Mexico. So they go back to Los Angeles. It might have taken longer for this to really happen in Mexico because the outbreak was bigger in bigger cities. I just don't think that there's a rationalization to say go all the way to the East Coast 3,000 miles away and how they're going to get there. So we can probably put that to rest. The people that believe it are going to believe it. I don't. Not going to happen. And I guess that's the big thing is with Walking Dead, like I really pick apart every detail. With Fear, there are probably some obvious things that I could go back and take a look at, some dialogue that we probably missed. Like, here's an example. Mr. Dante, that is an awfully nice suit he had on. So that should tell you that we're not too far into things. For long, that dude's not going to be wearing like a nice three-piece suit with a tie. Eric, that's a great question. We don't know where Ophelia is. All right. Lindsay, I'm almost ready to put this topic to bed, but I just have to ask you again, why? What is the point other than to make a few people happy that they become whisperers? What's the point? I don't see it to satisfy a few fans. I don't think it's needed. So yeah, they jump a few cars. You know, one day they're in California, then they make it to Utah, and then they make it to New Mexico, and then they're in Texas, and then they make it to Oklahoma, and then they get stuck on the Mississippi River. Not gonna do it for me. I think that's a much better question, Steph. This is what detracts away from it. And this is the big problem with Fear, is so many people want to make it into The Walking Dead and they want to merge it, and we should be asking questions like, where is Ophelia? We should be asking questions like, who shot down this helicopter? I'm gonna disagree with you 1,000%. I don't think that's the point of Fear. I do not think the point of Fear was to introduce us to the Whisperers. We're going to get introduced to the Whisperers in another season anyway. I think the point of Fear was to show you that there are different people in different parts of the country, and it's a completely different story. All right, we're going to get to a few different topics here. So, I thought that I had Fear all figured out until Travis died. Yeah, I mean, that was shocking. You know, here's this military base. They're doing these experiments, trying to find out what's going on. Travis becomes a macho man, just destroys everything, and then bam, next thing you know, he's gone. But it certainly developed a nice storyline. And even Troy saw that. I mean, when Madison was up there, and where Madison was saying, hey, I'm a victim here, I thought that was important. And we brought it up on the streams last week, that too often what happens is someone dies and they say, okay, well, you know, they had more character, they had more things to do, or they completed that, right? So we think that they're afraid to kill people. But Travis, to me, had some more story that could have been told, and I thought they did a great job of killing him. Because now I realize that for the story to really develop, Travis has to be gone. Now we are going to see this little military adventure with Troy and Madison going out to hunt these people down that shot them down. Madison's going to get some revenge. That's your next big story, is Madison wants to find out who killed Travis. Vengeance. Exactly, John. More likely to be cannabis than cannibals. And Diane, I've heard that as well. But because of the allure of The Walking Dead, and you can see it in the streams, it's going to happen for a little while until it just doesn't happen anymore. But yes, they're cannibals in Terminus, and then everything is not a parallel. There definitely are some things that are going to be similar. There's going to be relationships. There's going to be rivalries. There's going to be survival of the fittest. You know, all the social Darwinism is going to play into effect. There are going to be different challenges. So I don't think it's appropriate for them to just replicate everything. This has the opportunity to be a fresh storyline. They don't have to cross. It's a good point. I mean, you want to know where are all these people getting their goods? Are they growing it? Yeah, you know, Ophelia being at the ranch, though, to me would be a little too convenient. It's already been convenient enough that, you know, Nick was already there, and then Nick and Maddie ran into each other. I think there's something else going on with her. Good points, good points. Yeah, I think it would be more likely for Ophelia to be with the dam group. You know, the reservoir group, not the dam group. What is it with all the eh, there could be a group of Native Americans out there. But I mean, we're not in the 1800s here. I think I think that's the thing is like people think there's a group of Native Americans out there. They're just gonna ride up and shoot arrows at people. We do have to remember it's not that far. It's not that long ago. I know, but when you do some of these streams, Moody, and you read some of the chat, it's like you get the feeling that a lot of our viewers think that Chief Strongbow is just going to ride up to Jeremiah's ranch with and put his put a spear down and start bartering for skins or something. It's we're modern day. Well, I'm pretty sure. Well, I mean, yeah, it doesn't mean that okay, I guess people could resort back to a barbaric nature, but you got to assume that the best way to fight things is with at this point is guns and bazookas and rocket launchers and all of those things. All right, we are going to we're going to get so many whisper comments. So we're going to bring a little bit of closure to the stream here in a little bit. The one question I would like to ask all the viewers tonight is, probably not super shocked because we did some of the spoilers, what was the part of tonight's episode that you enjoyed the most? Because we've rated it and we've talked about whether it's off to a good start, whether it's backtracking a little bit. I still think it's off to a good start, but I'm just going to leave it open to the audience. We're going to talk about the part that you enjoyed the most, and then we're going to do some shout-outs and wrap this thing up and get ready for some random things tomorrow night. I'm sure it'll come back up tomorrow night. The whispers always come up. So Rial says, Madison is going to take Troy out. I don't think she's going to. I think watching that video, she sympathizes with Troy at this point. Daniel's return. Tobin says, Daniel. Bible study. A lot of people like the Bible study. Jake having some enemies and the helicopter being shot down, that wouldn't surprise me. That could be, that's a lot more believable to me. The basement thing with Alicia and Nick, that's Nick and Troy's fight. Yeah, real interesting stuff. So Strand thought he was waltzing in, was going to negotiate his way into something, and then almost gets tossed into the Walker pit. Daniel shows back up. So I think we got a good storyline there. Nick, back to maybe potentially being crazy Nick, but Lucy, who in some degrees brought him a sense of sanity, might have to cut ties with Lucy. I mean, Lucy wants to go. I think Nick wants to stay. And Nick asking Alicia, what happened to you out there? So we know that Alicia is definitely a different person. She's learned to kill. She can hold her own at this point. And Maddie playing the role of psychologist. You just don't know what her next move is going to be, why she's doing it. We know she'll do anything for her family. If there is a parallel that I would say you could draw from The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead, even though I'm very adamant I don't think the shows will ever cross paths, I can definitely see them building Maddie into a... Madison will be a female version of Nick. Or, I'm sorry, of Rick. Rick would do anything for Carl, do anything for his family. And most people would, but the fact that they zoom in on that and make that the storyline, I think is a very, very big deal. And we will ask Jeff if we're not sure. All right. Hey, we have a lot of stuff to digest. Thanks, everybody, for joining the stream. Appreciate you guys being part of the spoiler chat earlier tonight. And also, a chance to do the reactions. This is a little bit more raw coverage because, we're all fired up and we all have our different theories and reactions and emotions. And some are going to be right, some are going to be wrong. I've been wrong many, many times before as we do these. But, the clear reaction to it, I think I'm good. I like the direction it's going. I still want to watch it. I'm probably more hyped for Preacher, to be perfectly honest, though. Every time I see a preview of that, I just can't wait to get together. I'm hyped for Preacher the same way I'm hyped for, like, random things every Monday night. So, formulate all your thoughts. Get ready if you have some random things ideas. Send them over to me before tomorrow, and we may add it to the docket and see what we can discuss. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you spending your Sunday evening. You guys are awesome. So we're going to do a few shout-outs here. Tommy, go watch Fear the Walking Dead so you can give us a little bit of insight. So thank you, Tommy, sweet-ass McCandless. Also, Double L, Lindsay Luke, thank you for being here. Brene, Diane Estes, John O2C, Mastermind, thank you for being here. 1964 Cats, appreciate you being here. Your interaction as well. Northside Queen, thank you so much. Appreciate you being here. We also got Moody the Muddy Girl and also Darkest Angel. You tell them, Tommy. You guys hit that like button before you leave as well. Thank you, Rebecca from Texas. Appreciate you being here. Keep in mind, a lot of people are going to watch the playback. Usually we get 40, 50, 60 people, but we got a lot of people that are in other countries. So they do avoid the reaction, and then they'll watch it tomorrow night. So when this video goes live, go over and leave some of the comments as well. Emmy, well, I hope it's still at 8.9 because there hasn't been another episode since then, so I'm going to stick with you. Cuervo Queen, thank you so much. Steph Richardson, appreciate you being here. Your comments as well. AJ Jepson, it's okay. Still working. And we'll get a couple more shout outs and then we will wrap this thing up. And if you have a great Monday, join us for Random Things tomorrow night. If you have a terrible Monday, join us anyway. We'll try to do our best to make sure everybody just forgets about the week and just talks about whatever comes to mind. We've got some good topics for tomorrow, so you're definitely going to be there for that. All right, if you didn't request a shout out at this point, you're either lagging really, really seriously or you missed your opportunity. But thank you for everything that you guys do, and I will talk to you tomorrow night on Random Things. Peace.